It's been 7 years since the release of my first video essay, How God of War Was Ruined. Obviously a very controversial video, but also one that served as a real catharsis for people who shared my views. They were out there, I was sure of it. That's what ultimately made me decide to go ahead with making the video after 9 months of stewing on the idea. But really, I made it for me. I had to get it all out somehow, and I said, hey, it could get 200 views or it could get 200,000 views. No one follows my channel, so whatever happens, happens. And, well, it only got 1,000 views for the entire year of 2019. And then 2020, Doom Eternal comes out, my channel blows up over the Marauder video, I shoot up 20,000 subscribers in 1 month, and suddenly people are going back and seeing what I did before. And they find this little 1-hour video shitting on the new God of War game. The views skyrocketed and soon had similar numbers to my biggest Doom Eternal videos. Out of nowhere, I became a name in the God of War discussion with a video that people started reacting to, from the most bitter, annoying weirdo brats to the more sophisticated channels like Captain Kuba, which actually led to a podcast together and hopefully another collaboration soon. Well, now the video has 1 million views, so let's celebrate the true start of my work here on YouTube and revisit this classic. From this point on, things will be unscripted, so expect a lot of ums and uhs, because that's how I talk without a script. And I know my voice sounds different, it's because I'm using my headset mic for this, it's more comfortable. Let's hit play. God of War 2018 is considered by many to be the best game of the year. Even the game of this generation, a defining moment in the history of gaming, setting the standard for all that follow. God, I mean, right away the thing I notice is the mic quality. This was my first ever essay. I didn't have a mic other than like a cheap headset that I had from 2013. So I knew a couple guys in different recording studios around the city, and I asked each one to lend me their mic. And I recorded versions of the script with both mics to pick the one that sounded the best, and this is the best one. But yeah, it does not sound good. It's very, very muffled, very dry sounding. I did my early Doom stuff on the headset mic, and then I finally got my Samsung G-Track Pro that I've been using since mid-2020. All right. But for me, it was a disappointment. A tedious slog that tricked audiences into loving it through its technical achievements and pretentiousness. That line got a lot of pushback, saying that it tricked people into liking it. I still defend it because I've been tricked before. It doesn't mean that I'm calling anyone stupid. I've been tricked by things with really good presentation that actually turned out to be not very good upon further reflection. And I do think that this game just really does wow people with its giant epic presentation. You tend to overlook the big flaws that I think it has. But I do think the intro to this video is a bit too aggressive and off-putting. It's not very welcoming to people who love the game. So I would probably redo that if I were to do this video again today. It's going to be a long one, so grab a drink and a snack and get ready to get angry. This is how God of War was ruined. It's a pretty epic intro. I still like this a lot, this moment with the title. So before we break this disaster down, let's look at what made the God of War series so great in the first place. A little bit of history. Okay, so when I did this, I played 2018 one time when it came out, played it all the way to the end, and then I played it again while I was making the script for this 9 months later. And then I replayed the entire trilogy all through a weekend. So it was very, very fresh on my mind, and I knew that I had to go through where the games came from, just for some context, for people who maybe didn't play them. March 2005, I first heard of God of War when I saw the GameSpot review. A 9.3 score, and the game looked so fun that I immediately drove out to buy it. From the very start of the game, you know you're in for a ride. The fire, the epic musical theme, and that iconic opening line.
The gods of Olympus have abandoned me.
I still remember editing this, setting that movement on the text.
Now there is no hope.
Yeah, and editing it so that the dialogue came in earlier. Yeah. So this is something I tend to do with my bigger videos, is I try to make it a more personal experience. I'm not just going into what the game is. I talk about how I found out about it, going out to buy it, what the experience was like turning it on for the first time. Because this video is not so much like a video trying to convince people the game is bad or that you're wrong for liking it. I'm trying to present a relatable experience because I believed, and I was right, that there were a lot of people who had my exact emotional experience with this series. And so I felt like having someone narrate their own history with the series would be a real good way to connect with them.
Kratos is an instantly fascinating character. His look, his voice, and the sadness that pours through his expression as he throws himself into the sea. This game wastes no time in getting started.
That's a key point. Waste no time in getting started. You're right into the game after a very, very good hook of an intro. And we're going to see how that contrasts to 2018 pretty soon.
After a 3 weeks earlier setup, you find yourself on a ship in a thunderstorm, surrounded by monsters, the legendary Hydra destroying other ships in the background. Here you are allowed to experiment with the game's excellent combat system, one that is infuriatingly described by some as button mashing. Oh, you just mash square all day. Not really. Let's get into it.
Right, so this is one of the more controversial parts of the video, and one that I would definitely redo after more consideration and more experience doing this. I mean, this is my first big piece. When people describe the game as button mashing, I get defensive about that, even though, yeah, like a beat 'em up, like an arcade beat 'em up, or many hack and slashes, their mashing attack is certainly an aspect of it. Because I mean, look, you only have one attack button in some of these games. But button mashing, calling something a button masher, gives the impression that it's mindless, that you're just mashing and you win and whatever. And if you play this game on a difficulty that's challenging enough for you, you're doing more than that. You have to care about your spacing. You're using different grabs. You're doing the executions. You're dodging at the right moments. You're blocking at the right moments. You do parries. You're using magic at the right times. You're using magic for iframes to avoid damage in boss fights. There's a lot more to the game other than just mashing buttons. But it is a casual-friendly system. It's not super technical. So I do think I oversold some of the technicality, some of the depth of the game here, but we'll get into it.
6 presses of square, the light attack button, will perform a simple combo and finishing hit. If you incorporate the heavy attack button, triangle, the combo will end in a heavy smash. And mashing these combos will get you through some of the game, sure. But if you don't learn to change it up and use other attacks and guard, you will start to get punished hard, and you'll get wrecked on higher difficulties where a collection of 3 enemy attacks will take you down.
Yes, that was important to show that if you're playing on hard, even on normal, if you don't really care about blocking or dodging, the enemies will tear you apart because they stun lock you. You get hit by one, you cannot block the next attacks, and you'll get hit by 3 enemies and lose your entire health bar. So that's my main pushback against the mindless button mashing that people tend to throw out.
The heavy attack button launches light enemies into air juggles, and holding it launches enemies higher, followed by Kratos auto-jumping into the air for a focused line of attack. In the air, you can use a series of light attacks, heavy attacks to bounce more enemies into the air.
I love those animations.
The circle button to keep the enemy airborne and do focus damage.
Love the air grabs. It's one of my favorite things. One of my favorite things about this.
You unlock different attacks used in conjunction with the block button. Longer animation attacks that add style or effectiveness to your fighting technique. Horizontal and vertical spinning attacks that do many hits through long animations. and heavy smashing attacks that do massive damage or hit enemies all around you. And God of War 3 takes it to a whole new level by introducing the grapple attack, a good interruption to enemy animation.
I'm expecting to see this in the remake.
If you're able to continue your hits without getting hit yourself or stopping for too long, you build your combo meter. The more consecutive hits you get in a combo, the more red orbs you get.
So you can see that I'm playing the game in Spanish. The story is that I was dating someone at the time, very into games, but didn't know the kinds of games that I liked, and so I was showing her, Doom and Resident Evil and stuff like that. And we spent a lot of time at my house. Like, she would stay over for days and days because I don't know, we had a good connection like that. And I told her I was making this video, and I said, "Hey, I have to play all 3 God of War games to do this video. I'm going to do all 3 over this weekend. Do you want to come over and just hang out and watch these games?" And she's like, "Okay, sure." And so I just played all the way through them, and she was right there at my side. But she didn't speak English. Her English was all right. So I put all of the games in Spanish as much as whichever ones I could. So we had all the Spanish subtitles. That explains the golpes and vicioso right there on screen.
And you need orbs to upgrade your weapons and magic. It's a risk though, as enemies will not respect your attempts to build hits. A multi-hit grab or a long spinning animation could be interrupted by an incoming attack, ending your hit accumulation. The spinning attacks give many hits to your counter, especially when surrounded, but you cannot stop the animation to block. You must commit to it and be careful. If you're just mashing it, you'll get hit.
Right there. That's such an important point to put out. And it's such a unique thing about this game compared to the other hack and slashes, Bayonetta, Ninja Gaiden, DMC, the ones that people normally talk about. These auto moves that are the long animations that you have to use in a way to not get hit when you trigger them. I think that is a unique thing about these series of games, and I bring it up pretty much every time I talk about the combo system because it's key to extending your combos.
And on higher difficulties, that means you die fast, especially since hit stun allows multiple enemies to brutalize you in turn before you can recover. So you have to play smart, control the fight, and integrate multi-hit fancy attacks when you can get away with it. The grounded grab, circle, is a fabulous mechanic as it gives you the option
Yes.
of A,
One of my favorite things about it.
the others to give you some space. You can target different enemies to take out a specific threat too. This is your strategic control option. B, insta-killing to take out an annoying threat with a brutal kill. Starting with God of War 2, this and other grab kills give a reward of 5 orbs, making this option much more useful.
Boom. 5 orbs.
And C, punching multiple times, which adds to your combo meter. You can use this option to push your combo meter just a little bit higher at the end of a fight to try for a higher orb bonus.
One of my favorite things to do when you're so close to hitting a combo of like 50 or 75 or 100, you're so close and you need a few more hits, but you know that this enemy is going to die. Grab him and do the circle grab and punch him 5 times, and just that grab will get you over the limit. That's such a cool little detail that people don't really talk about that much. I wonder how many people actually use that. Let me know in the comments if that's something you do.
Large enemies give prompts for minigames that lead to savage kill animations. And not for nothing, you are awarded extra orbs for these kills. And certain enemies may give you health afterwards, like the Minotaur or magic from the Medusa.
Getting into the resource system.
And as the game progresses, there are so many different monster types that the minigames usually feel fun to do because you don't encounter the same large enemy constantly.
Sometimes you do. Like you fight a whole bunch of Minotaurs in the Dionysus fight. Is that who you fight? I can't remember who it is that you fight on the Steeds of Time, where you bash his head into the door. I'd say the Minotaurs do get repetitive because you would just have to mash circle a bunch to get into to stab their mouth. But generally, I do stand by that point. Most of the enemies that have the longer mini games, they are spread out enough to where you don't see them so much that you get tired of it.
And these games do a great job of making you hate these enemies and really feel the rage inside of Kratos.
Yes.
So there's a primal satisfaction in shoving your blade into a Minotaur's mouth or ripping the eyeball out of a Cyclops.
Cut to game volume. There you go. Yeah, that was an important moment in the video to just like shut up for a minute and let the game play, just show you, because that's such a striking scene. Pulling the Cyclops' eye out in God of War 3 is just amazing. And yeah, I think that the game's making you feel like Kratos is a big deal. God of War 1 gets you to hate Ares so much. Didn't even know him when you started the game, and then by halfway through, you're just like, I want to kill this motherfucker. And yeah, the feeling that you want every monster to die makes the minigames so much more enjoyable.
This is important. Do you see what the game is doing? The game is actively encouraging you to have fun and be flashy.
Wow. So I see, look, people always bring up, Doom Eternal. I was saying the exact same thing before Eternal came out and we had the whole fun zone thing. Right here, I'm saying that the game is pushing you into its fun systems through challenge, through enemy difficulty, through upgrade rewards. You're in the fun zone.
It's incentivizing you to use multi-hit moves by tying their riskiness directly to the benefit of your combo hit counter, which rewards you for being creative and not stopping. And the minigame kills benefit your health, magic, and orbs, as well as serving as a release for your tension.
The only thing that I feel like I really kind of oversell here is the importance of extending your combos and getting the orb bonus. That's something that in the years past this video, I take back. It is a nice bonus, and it's something that I always go for. And I think a lot of God of War fans do go for that. They want that long combo bonus. But there's enough orbs that you get generally just through combat and through exploration and through the big executions that if you're not actively trying to maintain your hits and get the high hit counter extra orb bonuses, it's not that big of a deal. So that's one of the things in this video that I would definitely retract and try to reword a little better in a more objective sense. And it's something that I wish, that I hope for in the remakes. Whatever combat system they're doing, if there's a combo counter that rewards orbs, I hope there's more emphasis on it. I want to feel more pressure to keep the combo going to get my upgrades. Now, when you play on high difficulties and you replay the game, and if you really are going for high combos, it can really make a difference. You're playing on Titan difficulty, you go for those long combos in the early game, you can get some crucial upgrades earlier. That is a fact. But I would like to see a little more emphasis put on it so it doesn't really feel that ignorable. Even like as low as normal difficulty, even if it's normal, I would like people to feel a little more pressure to engage with air launchers and using multi-hits and watching your combo counter.
The heavy attacks are there for when you just need something to die, and then a grab mixed in can help control the fight space or give a brutal kill. Magic gets added into the mix beautifully, as lightning spells control space and multi-hit. Medusa's gaze freezes enemies and gives large brutal kill orb bonuses as enemies shatter. Zeus's lightning bolt can multi-hit and effectively eliminate a targeted threat. And the other games follow this design and improve on it. God of War 2 has the Chronos orbs and the Typhon wind bow, and much better flashy attack animations. God of War 3, along with the amazing grapple, gives a bow and arrow as a separate ability apart from the magic.
That's one of my favorite things. I mean, you guys all love the bow, right? Maintaining those combos. Like you're just about to drop a combo, and you boop, 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 and you get someone just a little bit, and then you can get in. It's so good.
4 different weapons to use, featuring advantages in power, magic, and multi-hit ability. God of War 3 also allows you to switch weapons mid-attack, and finally gives you a lot of reasons to switch constantly. Not only are there great reasons...
Yeah, to the Nemean Cestus. for sure. But the other two weapons are too similar. I think that if the Hades hooks, I don't know what they're called, if they were to give more magic, something like that, I think that would be cool. Maybe they do. Oh my god, it's been so long. But if you had a weapon set that would grant more magic, like I think the spear did in God of War 2, then I think that they would encourage more weapons. But yeah, you do go back and forth between the cestus and the blades. But the other two, I think they really just come down to preference.
Reasons to switch weapons, but it's also incredibly fun, and you'll want to switch weapons because you're having a great time. It's just fantastic design. Visually, the games are brilliant, beautiful, and inspired.
That's a great scene to put there.
Amazing locations, and the scenery is always changing. Ships at sea in a storm, Hades, Mount Olympus, the Titan Atlas.
Yeah, very important to show the wide variety of environments here, because that also ties into one of my big issues with 2018.
Swimming sections, the steeds of time, the pits of Tartarus,
I'm really taking you back.
caverns,
I'm showing you
Pandora's temple.
where you've been over the years, but I'm also showing new viewers like, here, look at all these places that we went to in this series, because you have to know the games to know what I'm getting into with the reboot.
Athens.
And I do try to do that with a lot of my big reviews. I try to consider the new viewer, the person who doesn't know what I'm talking about. I want them to understand as well.
The Desert of Lost Souls, the Titan Gaia, the Labyrinth, flying across
The caverns.
sea.
That's called the caverns.
So many vivid scenes, and meticulously framed. The fixed camera, while limiting the player's perspective,
The camera, showing one of the best fixed camera scenes in the entire series right here.
allows the game to have a truly cinematic presentation and sells the epic scope of the adventure.
I've been talking about this for 7 years, and I will never stop talking about the camera.
Kratos is small when set against this intimidatingly large world. Combat is also commonly framed by a distant, angular, often overhead camera. This allows the player to have full sight of the battlefield. You see what enemies intend to do and where they are, giving you the time to decide to roll, jump, activate magic, or block.
Yeah, and it's not just important that you can see everything and react to it. It's important that all of these combat spaces have their own framing. I mean, a lot of them are, kind of a general view, but some of them have a very, very cool, interesting view. And if they go back to a distant view where you can move the character any direction, like a classic game for the remake, I don't just want a free camera like, say, like Ninja Gaiden 4, like the new Ninja Gaiden, where it's just, every space is the same camera, free camera, spin it wherever you want. I don't want that. I don't just want visibility. I want intentional camera direction. Make me see the fight the way that you want me to see it.
Importantly, block is universal and auto-guards against attacks from all directions. So you're fighting, and all the while you're able to admire the beautiful scenes in the background and the design of the level, because you're not distracted by having to move the camera all the time or watch for flashing indicators.
Yeah, you can just focus on the action. You don't have to constantly adjust the camera, which I just don't like in these games. It's one more thing that I got to think about, which makes me not think about something else. Like, there's only so many things you can keep on your mind, and having to constantly reframe the scene yourself, I think that just takes away from what you can do and ultimately my enjoyment. And this point about universal block, I got some criticism for that. It was like, so you just want easy mode. Like, that's just easy mode. It's like, no. It allows you to create combat situations where you're surrounded. If you had the same combat, but you had to turn to block every attack in classic God of War, could you imagine the nightmare that would be? It would be impossible.
In addition to great combat and visuals, there's exploration. It's a linear game, but there are lots of little hidden areas with bonuses for health and magic upgrades. Kratos has a classic platforming double jump, He can climb many surfaces and ledges, scale walls quickly, and explore odd angles looking for treasure. There are lots of clever little secrets hidden, and many include having to think creatively and jump and climb. God of War 2 and 3 introduced the wings of Icarus, which you brutally rip from his back. Now able to glide long distances, the games start to feel even larger. Boss fights are epic, sometimes involving puzzle elements like climbing boxes to impale the Hydra, or freezing and breaking the mirror in the Sisters of Fate fight.
How many times have I brought up that Hydra fight? It's just my key example for, a puzzle-based boss fight. It's not like a big puzzle you have to figure out, but it's something you got to do other than just kill the thing. I really like those kinds of boss fights. This was great. Yeah, what a great boss fight.
Zeus.
Yeah, just going through all the epic fights.
Colossus.
Love that shot.
The Minotaur. Ares.
What a bastard.
Kronos. Hades. Perseus.
Oof. Love the Perseus fight. I love the way he dies.
The Barbarian King. They're all so good, and the games do a great job of making you hate these characters so much that you want to see them dead, especially Ares and Zeus. Speaking of puzzles, these games have plenty of them. Not so hard that they ruin your fun, and usually not so easy that it's obvious in 5 seconds.
So, some people who play these games, not just God of War, but Devil May Cry, they really don't like the presence of platforming and puzzles. They just want to fight. They just want to do combos and fight bosses. And that's how you end up with Devil May Cry 5, which has almost no platforming. I don't recall it having any puzzles. Maybe it did. But it just felt like running from one combat arena to the next. That's all that game felt like, compared to Devil May Cry 4 and 3 and 1, where there was a lot more to it. The exploring the areas, finding items that you got to use for little puzzle areas. Yeah, it's coming across little platforming challenges are fun. It just creates a bigger adventure and not just a training room where you can just beat up on enemies. I hope they keep them for the remake.
Construct a wall, maneuver the box before the
I love this one. I know everyone hates it, but I think that is a great puzzle.
avoid traps. Hera's garden using weird visual manipulation to create pathways. Using time travel to prevent suicide.
Super cool moment.
Pass through portals to unlock secrets. The ice melting puzzle.
Yeah,
Open the
that's a good
architect's
one.
tomb and cross the platforms.
Ooh, the saws. Bring them back for the remake, baby. I want more of
Raise
that
the
stuff.
grapple hooks and freeze time
not
to
more of
cross
it.
the rooms.
Yeah, that was so good. Look at all this stuff you're doing in these
And the
games.
story is fantastic. Kratos, the greatest Spartan warrior, sells his soul to Ares, the god of war, in exchange for victory in the face of defeat against the barbarian king. In service of Ares, Kratos' thirst for blood leads him right into Ares' trap, and in a blind rage, he accidentally kills his wife and daughter, severing his emotional ties to the world, to forever be Ares' servant. The town oracle curses Kratos
Terrible
to
plan.
be eternally covered in the ashes of his dead family, always reminded of his sin. He turns his back on Ares and swears allegiance to Zeus and the other gods of Olympus, serving them for years in exchange for their forgiveness. When Ares lays siege to Athens, the gods must stop him, but are forbidden from intervening directly. Thus, Kratos is tasked with finding Pandora's box to obtain the power to stop Ares, which will end his service to the gods and finally win their forgiveness. This takes him through Athens, the Desert of Lost Souls, the back of the Titan Kronos, Pandora's Temple, and the underworld Hades, leading to the final confrontation.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything. There's not really much for me to say other than he doesn't fight for forgiveness. He fights to forget, which they never explicitly said that he would get.
While we are fed pieces of this story paced out like a good mystery, you finally do.
I love the story pacing of these games. You play for a while, and then you get a piece of the story. It's not after every stage. You just come across it as you go through, and it's dealt out at a wonderful pace.
Battle with Ares, including a surreal dream fight where you battle your own guilt and protect your family from yourself, even going so far as to allow you to transfer health to them by hugging them.
What
Ultimately,
a beautiful moment.
Ares
Beautiful,
falls.
beautiful. I don't know any other fight that's like that, right? You're hugging your family to transfer health to them to keep them alive while fighting yourself. God, I don't know any boss fight that makes me like feel something like that. It's so good.
And while you are forgiven of your sins, the gods will not let you forget. Kratos must still be tormented by the memory of what he's done, which he can't handle. So he steps off a cliff to die, but is then rescued from death as the gods need Kratos to take over as the new god of war, a mortal given godly status and power to forever watch over and guide the wars of man.
Which is retconned into...
So don't tell me that the new God of War finally gives the series a good story.
Oh, okay. So an instant turn into anger. After how many minutes? We are 13 and a half minutes in to a video that has just been all about love. And then immediately just goes, so don't tell me. So don't tell me. Like, oh my God, that's so good.
The original games, especially the first one, have fantastic stories filled with drama, character, emotion, and an epic sense of adventure. And I don't know if people have just willfully forgotten or if they're actively being dishonest by lying about the nature of these games' stories, combat, and everything else. But just because Kratos isn't walking around all depressed with a child next to him doesn't mean that these games deserve to be dismissed.
Man. Yes, the anger has arrived. Because I was pissed. I was so pissed. And I know a lot of old God of War fans were pissed off reading those fucking, head up their ass reviews. Kratos is finally a deep character. God of War finally has a good story. God of War finally has a good combat. Oh my God. It was so infuriating.
All right, now that we appreciate what made the original series so great, let's compare them to the new God of War. From the very beginning, we have a very stark contrast in tone. No epic music, and there's an option for...
And, the way I'm saying that makes it sound like that's a bad thing. I think this menu is definitely not as interesting, as grabbing as the original games, for sure. But it has its vibe. It's not such a big deal that this is a different tone. I'm open to a new tone as long as the game's good. But the pointing out the first difficulty of give me a story, that is a serious thing, because you can't make a give me a story difficulty while also including platforming. Because some people just can't do platforming. It doesn't matter how much you nerf the enemies. The platforming is going to be the same regardless of the difficulty, which is why they took it out. That's what I theorize anyway, but I'm absolutely sure that that's why there's no platforming in these games.
Easy mode, which says, give me a story. To me, this reveals that the creators have prioritized story and experience over gameplay. Maybe that's fine for something like The Last of Us, but not here. It's kind of a red flag. But okay, I'm a veteran. I'll pick hard. I want a challenge. Wait, what? I'm mashing R1 to cut a tree? Why? Why isn't this just a nicely directed cutscene?
Yeah, this is such a lame start to this game. This whole cinematic intro is, oh God.
I guess I'm supposed to feel like I'm the one doing this?
Yeah, they haven't earned this because you could be like, well, in the old games, there are parts where you mash the interact button to do something, and you've got the QTEs. Yeah, but they've earned it by that point. I'm with him on the journey. I feel what he feels. I'm here to do what he wants to do. You don't start the game by telling the player to just hit R1 to cut a tree, and they can't even fail at it. Like if you just sit there forever, it's not like you can lose. So yeah.
Okay, now we're walking. Walking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really? Press the left stick to move. Thank you.
Oh yeah, yeah, yes. Of course. I mean, this could be someone's first ever video game, sure. But saying use left stick to move is kind of funny.
In a boat, rowing, walking.
Mm-hmm.
Can I move faster? No?
Yeah, this right here on the screen. The first 10 minutes of the game is just holding up on the controller to move Kratos and cutscenes. It's true. 10 fucking minutes before you actually play the game. It's just crazy.
Can I go over there? No. Just gotta hold up. Holding up.
It's so pretentious to think that we would want that players would want to do this. Who wants to do this? Who wants to spend 10 minutes of a God of War game walking around carrying a log and watching a bunch of cutscenes and just holding up? I can't stand the beginning of this game.
Walking. All right. Grieving over my dead wife. My second wife? Who was this woman? God, so dramatic with all the music. They're really trying to sell that this game is serious.
Yep. Maybe it's just me. I don't know, but I don't care about what's happening here. I didn't know his wife, and especially if you've never played a God of War game before, like what are you supposed to feel here? It's just a body wrapped in cloth. You don't even see her face.
Here we get the gist of the story. We meet Kratos' idiot son, who immediately proves he's an idiot by grabbing a hot blade from the top of a fire.
Yes. That was the first thing I thought of whenever that happened. God, what an idiot character. This is the worst thing that ever happened in this series is this kid.
So my son and I are going to climb the highest mountain to spread the ashes of a woman that I don't know in the slightest. Didn't even see her face or a flashback. Great motivation. Picking up some stuff from the ground, walking. Can I swing this axe on my back? No.
Did that infuriate anyone else? That there's an attack button and you have an axe on your back and you can't swing it. Well, what's going on? I can't even see what any of the buttons do. Nothing does anything other than walk and pick up stuff. And I mean, there were people that called that a nitpick. And I guess it is a nitpick, but you know what? They changed it in Ragnarok. In the beginning, before you're even in combat, you can hit the attack button and he swings the axe. Isn't that nice to be able to see what your buttons do in a video game?
Wouldn't want to let the player break the immersion of this walking scene. This is just so... But you know what? Fine. Okay. Long intro. Serious tone. I like some serious games. I love Metal Gear Solid 1 and the original Silent Hills. And I'm not opposed to a total reinvention of a series. If it's good, I can give this a chance.
So this is just a recreation of my original feelings, which I feel was really necessary to connect to the people that I wanted to talk to. This video was not made to convince people that I'm right. This video was made as a catharsis for other people who already felt this way, and so they could hear their own experience put to words for the first time. And that's what this video ended up doing. This is one of the reasons I love it so much.
Moving along,
And my experience was that I was like, I don't like this. God, what is this? But then I would stop and think like, okay, hey, you know what? Put that aside. Let's see how this is gonna go.
Interesting place we're in. Ooh, what's over there? Maybe there's an item in there.
That's exactly what I thought when I got there.
X. Pressing X. Come on, jump. How do I jump?
So this is not footage of the first time I played. This is me recording and recreating what I was doing, what I remember doing, that I ran up to this thing and I tried to jump. So this is all just a recreation, not me actually playing and doing this stuff. Just showing you what I was doing.
Menu, controls. I can't jump? There's no jump button? Wow, forget about double jumping. I can't single jump. Oh my God. How do I get over this crevice if I can't jump? Circle? Oh, it's an interact button for stupid people.
Yeah. Like I said, they took out the platforming so that this game could be for everyone. And it just took away something that was so core to the entire series since the first one. And I think it just really, I don't think it really hurt it.
Which causes Kratos to auto-jump Uncharted style. Suddenly, the entire series flashes before my eyes.
So dramatic.
Memories of platforming, the exploration, the vertical level design.
This is a great edit with all the
jumps.
The fading in and out of previous platforming moments from the series.
The fast climbing, air juggling enemies, balancing sections, all gone in an instant, replaced with an auto jump that requires no skill. You can't fail. You will never ever miss a jump and fall in this game. Just hit the button and watch Kratos jump for you.
Yeah. It's just the game plays itself for you. You can't even fall off. In Uncharted, at least you can screw up and die, which I made that point in the Ragnarok review because I was able to collect my thoughts a little bit more to make my points.
Interact button over the tree. Again, no timing or skill involved. I'm getting worried. I've been walking around in the woods for like 10 minutes doing nothing. But relax. We can still save this experience. It's God of War, and Cory Barlog, the director of God of War 2.
Okay, I don't know if you heard that. There's a little bit of a tonal difference when I say Barlog. I'm gonna go back a little bit. I want you to listen to the way I say Barlog. It's like Cory Barlog. It's punched in.
And Cory Barlog, the director of God of War 2.
See that his name sounds a little weird? It's because when I recorded the script and when I wrote it, I accidentally said his name as Balrog, like Balrog, like the boxer in Street Fighter. So, and then I realized while I was editing the video, like, oh my God, his name's not Balrog, it's Barlog. So I had to punch myself in with the mic, saying his name, trying to match the exact like tone and inflection of the sentence. I got it pretty close, but yeah, there's a little behind the scenes editing moment there. That happens more than you think.
Director of God of War 2, my favorite in the series, is back. It's going to be great. This is just the start, a slow start.
Yep, just like talking myself down. Don't get upset. Don't get upset. Keep an open mind. This is going to be good. This is going to be good.
Now, what's this here? Okay, I can throw the axe and recall it with triangle. Cool. So, an axe. Changing up the combat approach, up close and personal. Very cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like the weapon change.
Yeah, I'm giving it a chance. Like, hey, you know what? Look. The axe is cool. More up close. Sure. The throwing seems cool.
We got our first enemy, 15 minutes into the game, and we finally get to fight something. Let's go. Looks like our attacks are similar to the classics. Good. Light and heavy. But holding heavy doesn't launch into the air. Makes sense. Kratos has forgotten how to jump in his old age.
Yes, except for in the cutscenes when he jumps plenty.
And there's no grab. Wow.
Yeah, I think that is one of the biggest mistakes of this series. You take out the grabs, and so all you got is just hacking away right up in their face. And oh man, I think it's so boring.
Significant parts of the combat system have been gutted.
Can't leave the ground, can't grab. Ugh.
Okay, give them a little of this, a little of that. Okay, not bad. Throw the axe for a light hit, target the legs, throw it with heavy and it freezes them, and then I use my bare hands. Got it.
All right, yeah. Like I'm giving it credit. Okay, this is cool. I get what you're going for here.
Now there's a sidestep to counterattacks. Okay, that's a little awkward for me, but I got it.
I say awkward for me because those are just not the types of games I play. You guys, some of you know by now, like I don't play Dark Souls games, or I don't really play games where it's like this one-on-one combat that's based on like learning different patterns and dodging and stuff like that. It's just never been my style of game. But I mean, like I can do it. I do it here. I made it through this game on Give Me God of War difficulty, so I can do it. It's just I don't really enjoy it.
It's cool. Hack, hack, dodge, hack, 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 dodge,
Yeah.
throw, recall, hack, hack, dodge. Wait, is this it?
Yeah, this was the moment where I started to be like, wait, this kind of sucks. Without a grab, without an air launcher, and the air grabs, like what am I doing here? This is just not interesting.
Is this all there is? I see that I'm not gaining orbs or XP. Is combat not tied to an upgrade system?
Yeah, we're really gonna get into that.
Am I just hacking and dodging and auto-climbing ledges and collecting silver on the ground? Suddenly my heart sinks deeper into my chest as I start to fear that this is it for the whole game.
Yeah, I got pushed back on that one. People were like, "That's not all you do for the whole game." It's like, I know, I didn't say that's what you do the entire game. I said that the fear was hitting me that this is all you do in the game. It was the fear that I had at this moment.
And by the way, there is no magic. No Spartan army or summoning the souls of Hades. Just powers for your axe. A couple cool ones, sure, but most of them are fairly boring. They're all just ice-themed or axe-themed because it's an ice axe. You have to equip different abilities all the time, which is tedious.
Yeah, I really missed the range of magic attacks from the originals, and now it's just, axe runic attacks, and that you could only equip two. I hate this what would you say? This design for the reboot series, where you find all these different runic attacks. Oh, but you can only have two equipped. Sorry. I really don't like that design.
You can only use 2 out of the many that you'll find. So instead of a carefully crafted experience focused around certain magic abilities, they give you a ridiculous amount of customization options for powers to do whatever you want. They shove so much crap into the game with armor and abilities and blah, blah, blah. Can't you just design the game well around awesome items? Does everything have to be a huge open world where you run around collecting things and talking to strangers and hunting for items? Do you have to give me 40 different kinds of armor for my wrists?
Yeah. God, it's so tedious having so many different armor types to always be looking at. Just not a fan of this, man. It's just too much stuff.
The last thing I want to do in a God of War game is sit in the inventory for 15 minutes scrolling through armor statistics. Let's talk a little more about the magic. In the originals, you had to refill your magic meter by finding blue chests. This meant that on harder difficulties, you had to be very wise about when you used it, especially since they give you less. Magic could really help you in a fight, but you didn't want to just use it all. because maybe in the next room there's an even bigger fight. And if there's no magic chest from here to there, you're going to go into that fight with an empty magic meter.
So right there, this is something you don't want to do when you make YouTube videos. You don't want to have to put up a text while you're talking, because people can't read what you're saying there and also take in what you're saying in your audio. This is something you do when you just, can't fit something in after, when you're like, oh man, I should have said that. And then I got to put it right up there, because that is a huge point, that health didn't recharge to 100% upon death. That is a huge point to this game that I do get into a little bit later, but I should have mentioned it here with the magic, and that's why I put the text there.
And that's a bad place to be. So again, strategy, resource management. Compare that to this game, where your special abilities recharge for free. And as you level up and your abilities get more powerful, they recharge even faster, so you can always feel comfortable using them.
That's one thing I just really don't like about these games, is since your magic is on cooldown, and then you have 2 weapons, or even 3 like Ragnarok, you have all these magic attacks and they're just always full. So, oh, hey, here's a fight. Just run in and just magic. Just burn all of your runic attacks, because why not? And then start fighting, and then they'll just come back and you can use them again. So I felt like I could just approach every fight the same way. Walk into a room, burn all the runic attacks. Just that's what I'm going to do, no matter where I am. Oh, what's this fight? Start with runic attacks. And I never did that with old God of War. I had to actually think about when I was going to use magic, because it wasn't infinite.
Because they'll be back in a minute. If you really want to break things, you can find the Talisman of Unbound Potential, which instantly refreshes your special abilities.
You like that resolution of the image? This is 720p footage from a Elgato capture card from 2017 or something like that. All this footage is ass.
So walk into a fight, use all your abilities, drop the electric spell to stun everyone, refresh your abilities, and use them again. Fight over.
It's so lame.
As you're fighting, you get XP at random. This is perhaps my greatest complaint about the game. There's no reason to play with any style, and no reason to keep your offense going, because there is no combo meter. No combo meter to reward you for playing well and playing flashy. The only objective in New God of War is to kill all the enemies as quickly and efficiently as possible. It makes the combat so dull and repetitive and limited, because the XP I'm earning is not dependent on how well I perform. All you're going to do in this game is mindlessly hack at the enemies, sidestep, and hit with your best attacks. No grabs, no air juggles, no risk reward. The creativity is entirely absent. And since the fights are mostly staged in similar ways to the originals, it just feels like the same old fights, but with a huge amount of limitations. Plenty of reviewers said asinine things like, finally God of War has a deep combat system instead of just being a button masher. Hey, the original's combat was way deeper than this hacking and dodging crap. Anyone who says the original games were just mindless button mashing, I dare you to pick up the originals on the hard difficulty, or Titan or Chaos difficulty, and never play defensively. See how far you get. Try playing without intelligently using your multi-hit attacks and grabs and magic, and see how fast you can upgrade your weapons. Good luck.
Yeah, the only thing I would take from that is the multi-hit attacks. You don't really have to extend your combos to get your upgrades. But yeah, of course, playing defensively and the other points and using grabs. I definitely stand by that, playing on the Titan difficulty. I don't know how speedrunners and the pros play. Maybe they can just ignore stuff. But if you're just a regular player, just a regular guy, and you go into Titan mode, you got to use that stuff, or you're gonna die.
And yes, those old games were designed to be played on higher difficulty once you mastered the combat. The combat was the main feature, and it was super rewarding to replay on those punishing difficulty levels. And the fact that they included those punishing difficulty levels in the new game is an acknowledgement of that. but they did it without including the rich and fun combat system. How could they screw this up so bad? Now, let's talk about the camera. Cory Barlog, the
Again, Barlog. There's a punch-in on his name. Oh, great. Now we get into the camera section. Whew.
genius director of God of War 2, insisted on this camera style. The cinematic camera is now gone in favor of this so-called immersive over-the-shoulder camera.
Yeah, people made such a big deal out of this being immersive. Oh, it's so immersive. Like why? Because the camera is over his shoulder? Like because the camera never cuts? Like that makes it immersive? I think people don't know what immersive is. Immersive means that you lose yourself in the world and what you're experiencing, what you're seeing, which can happen in God, that happens in Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time. Those games are immersive.
This isn't immersive. This is immersive. I'm absorbed in the architecture and color of the setting. I have total freedom of movement. I don't have to worry about moving the camera as I fight. I can admire the glory of my rampage and constantly see Kratos' rage as he murders and the music swells behind me. Not this. This is tedious. I'm staring at the back of his head for 95% of this game. I'm aiming Kratos with controls designed for a shooter, and
Okay, so I remember in Captain Kuba's video, he was really upset about me showing like stuff like this because I'm up next to the wall. It's like I'm forcing this to happen. I'm forcing the camera to do something bad here, and like I think that's missing the point. The point is that the camera can and does do this. If you end up against a wall, I mean, just because I'm doing it myself here, I'm just showing how this works. I'm just showing how it looks. But this happens naturally during combat, especially in Ragnarok. Things really push you up against walls there.
can't see. Seriously, look at my vision range here. I can see 1 or 2 enemies, while there are multiple enemies behind me. Where are they? What are they doing?
Yeah. This was the most frustrating thing of getting into that first fight, where your greatest enemy is the camera. I still feel like that. It's like, oh well, you got to get good with the camera. It's like, yeah, I shouldn't have to get good with the camera. The camera shouldn't be something I'm fighting against. And like, I feel like I have to kite around the enemies and try to keep them all in view as I'm fighting, and that's just such a tedious extra requirement on top of combat when I could just be fighting them and able to see.
God of War Originals, not a problem. The camera view lets you see all around you. If someone is going to attack, you react accordingly. But in this game, they changed the camera to show only what's in front of you while keeping the surrounding combat scenarios of the originals.
And I don't think I mentioned in this video that you can't move to the side, that you control like tank controls. You have to press up to go forward, and if you want to attack to the right, you have to turn Kratos like a tank to the right and then attack that way. You can't just attack to the right or attack behind you. And that, I think that made this game feel so stiff.
This does not work. It gets better in areas like corridors because this control scheme is suited for shooters like Gears or Uncharted or the new Tomb Raider. But significant amounts of combat are presented in open areas with enemies attacking from all directions. The only way to know if an attack is incoming is, you guessed it, on-screen indicators. Oh, how I hate on-screen indicators. So not only is my playing freedom restricted by being forced to constantly adjust the camera, but now I also got to be following indicators flying around the screen and
Yeah, you can't just focus on what you're doing. You can't just focus on the combat. I have to be constantly repositioning myself around the camera limitations while also looking out for different colored indicators appearing around my character's waist. It's just... Oh God, I don't know how people like this.
changing colors. There are enemies behind me doing something. I have no idea what. I can't see them. And one of them is going to attack me. Which enemy? Which attack? Who knows? How should I react? Jump! I can't. I guess I'll just roll.
I had to censor the curse words because when I uploaded this video, it got flagged for profanity, which is, I mean, I don't curse very much in this. But once my channel took off, I was suddenly allowed to curse in my videos. I think it's some kind of automated system where they're preventing people from just creating YouTube channels and uploading profanity laden just hate stuff. It's probably a good filter, but once I got views and subscribers, there must be some kind of switch that goes off that allows my channel to suddenly to enter a different level where I can do that stuff. But I think the beeps are funny though.
And hope that I don't roll into something like a wall or another enemy that's running at me. It would be nice if I could see.
Yeah, see here, I'm focused on this guy that I'm fighting. I'm looking at him. I'm not looking at these red arrows.
There's also no universal block, so you can only block what's in front of you.
Oh, look at this. Look at this part right here. Look at this scene. So the camera's zoomed in here while I'm aiming. I've got these yellow circles that I'm reacting to. I'm throwing the axe. The camera's all zoomed in. And then right there next to my hip, I've got a white arrow, next to my white skin character with this white freeze effect while the image is getting desaturated with the red stuff around there because I'm low health. I don't see this fucking arrow.
Many attacks come from off screen.
Dead right there. Oh God. And there's actually a little LOL right there. Let me see if I can catch it.
So many attacks come from off.
Let's see if I can pause it. He comes in. There it is. See the little LOL as it gets hit. Bonk.
It creates
bonk right on the head.
It comes from not being able to see what you're doing. And that is not the kind of difficulty that makes for a fun challenge in a beat-em-up game. Survival horror? Sure.
Yeah, I don't know why I called it beat-em-up game. It's an action game, a hack and slash, right? Give me a break. It was 7 years ago.
But not this. When I finish a fight in New God of War, I don't think, yeah, I did it. Bring on the next fight. I think, God, I'm so glad I don't have to do that anymore. Because there's no sense of focus. You're swinging the camera around the whole time and it just gets exhausting keeping track of everyone. And by the way, what's with the HP of these enemies? They seem to take a little too long to kill in the early game. And I'm just hacking away, using the same attacks over and over.
Yeah, this is, I think this is just to give me challenge.
They take longer to kill because the action is now focused on fighting single enemies up close.
Yep.
But it's too much.
Single enemies.
It's boring.
And there's the indicators that I'm not looking at because it just sucks to have to keep that in mind while also adjusting the camera, while also looking at enemy attacks and where I'm attacking and what I'm going to do and if I'm going to block.
They need to die faster and maybe up the number of enemies. But then we could end up with even more problems of enemies attacking you from off screen.
Right, that's the problem. If you lower the health of these enemies, you would need more enemies on screen, and then they're going to be behind you, and you can't see them because of the camera.
You can spend an eternity staring into the void of monotony as you're mashing the attack button and dodging against higher level enemies.
Yeah, I love that scene. Because you can come across him early, and you can choose to fight him, but all you can do is hack and dodge away, and you got some runic attacks, but there's really not much you can be doing.
Hey, if you're having too much trouble in the fights, change it to normal. Well, that makes the game bad for a whole other reason. On normal difficulty, sure, the enemies have less HP, but your attacks do so much stun that the game literally does turn into a button masher.
That's a very key distinction. The stun works differently on normal. If you're playing on hard, you don't stun these enemies. But on normal, it's just every single hit will stun an enemy. So you can just mash, 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 mash.
You don't have to do anything intelligent to defeat them. You can just screw around and make it through. And if the game eventually
See, like he was going to do one of his attacks and I just stunned him right out of it.
gets way too easy on hard, just imagine how normal is going to be. So either play normal and mash your way through, or play hard and make every fight a long, boring grind until you get overpowered. Pick your poison. As the game progresses and you level up, the enemies become pretty easy to cut through, and the game starts to trick you into thinking you're having fun, but you're not really.
A lot of people took issue with that. No, I didn't trick me into having fun. It was awesome. Like, yeah, I think because you start feeling like you're more powerful and you're taking everyone down, but I don't know.
You think you're having fun because you're not as stressed. Around the time you get inside the mountain, the pacing of the game picks up, and I found some pretty decent fights there. But if you stop and think about it, you're not actually excited by what you're doing. And you don't feel like you're accomplishing anything because there's really no reward or motivation.
So, again, this is speaking to people who already feel this way. I'm not trying to convince people. I'm not telling the people who legitimately had fun that they did not have fun. I'm talking to the people who kind of felt like maybe something good was going here, but they still had that doubt and they didn't quite feel right about it. I'm talking to those people.
And there's so much health on the ground that you can always heal. And if you die, you come back with full health, even if you didn't start the fight with it. Don't worry.
So that is a point that I expanded on in the part 2 of this video of why God of War was ruined. If you never saw that, please check it out. That every checkpoint, even if you cross it with low health, if you die and go back to the checkpoint, you get full health refill. The old games were not like that. And that means that you don't have to guard your health. I'm actually working on a video specifically about that right now. And that's just such a big deal. You don't have to care about your magic. You don't have to care about your health. And you get it all back anyway.
Worry about using all your runic powers, they recharge. Don't worry about finishing a fight with low health, just die and come back with 100%. Don't worry about playing poorly, you earn the same XP regardless. This sucks. It sucks so much that the game has to constantly reward you with little pieces of loot to make you feel excited.
Yep, because there's nothing else to get from this. If there's no combo meter, you're not getting extra XP for playing well. If you get all your health back, then you don't ever feel good about leaving a fight with high health because it doesn't matter. If you don't use your magic, if you save your magic, it doesn't matter that you saved your magic because it's on a cooldown anyway. So there's nothing to feel good about. So they have to give you candy after every fight.
The combat isn't enough on its own, and it should be. Instead of feeling good about saving resources and taking little damage, in this game it's just, okay, the fight is over. I hope I get to pick up lots of shiny things on the ground. The brutal kills are still here, as they're a staple of the series, but they're not as satisfying because you feel too separated from them.
Yeah, and there's no grabs, and so most of these are just like a Doom glory kill, right? Which is cool. Like I like them, but the tactical side of using enemies has mostly disappeared. There's like one or two enemies that you can do something with on an execution, but most of it's all gone.
They felt earned in the originals. You had to wear them down enough to get that floating icon, and then you could go through the quick minigame to tear them apart. But violence wasn't the only reason. There was a purpose behind it all. Health or magic.
Yeah, you got extra orbs for doing that. Or you got magic from killing the sirens. Or you got health from the Minotaur.
Explosions, orb bonuses, or your combo meter. There was a lot of variety, and sometimes it granted multiple grab options. Isn't that so much more interesting than just mash the stun attacks until this boring enemy dies?
You probably hear little glitches in my audio where I said mash the stun attack. Yeah, I had some kind of issue with the interface. I was using an old interface that I had to plug the mic into, and just every once in a while, I would just get this weird stutter in my voice. Actually, it probably wasn't the interface because I was running into that problem with my audio software in some of my videos a couple of years ago. I had to reinstall Windows to make it go away. But yeah, it pops up here, and I really notice that I don't like it. I don't like the audio of this video at all. But I guess it's something charming. It's old. It's my origins.
Speaking of enemies, do you see anything in common with these designs? Did I mention that every one of them is just a dude? Pretty much. Dude, 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 blue dude.
Yeah, I'm saying they're all just like humanoid characters. Standing on two legs, got two arms. They're all just humans, human forms, except for like a couple things.
Yellow dude, archer dude, hammer dude, flying dude, Valkyrie dude, a dog, a wolf, a monkey. I miss the Cerberus.
Yeah, where's the fantastical elements?
The Minotaurs. The Wraiths. The Centaurs.
You know what? They did a better job in Ragnarok. They brought in some more interesting enemy types. I'll definitely give Ragnarok a nod for that. Much better enemy variety.
The Satyrs.
I don't know the pronunciation. Oh, the Cyclops, so good.
The Chimera that's part snake, part lion, part ram. All that fantastical creature design. I guess some more outlandish monsters would detract from the serious and mature tone they were going for. Even the
That's such a good edit. I'm sorry. I just love that edit right there. That took a little while to get right. I'm going through all these enemy types, and I go back to the old games. I'm like, oh, God, look how cool this is. And there's this music swell that, and that just cut right to rowing on a boat, which you do for hours.
more outlandish monsters would detract from the serious and mature tone they were going for. Even the bosses were just dudes. The trolls? Oh, the troll battle. This is when things start getting obviously bad.
Yeah, no one actually likes this, do they? I mean, I know everyone doesn't like that there are so many trolls, but no one likes this troll fight, right?
This is supposed to feel like an epic fight, but my God, is it boring. There's not enough attack variety to make this interesting, and he has so much HP that it feels like it goes on forever. What's worse is that this troll fight is copy-pasted all through the game over and over and over. Every time he shows up in whatever form, you just think, God, really? This game suffers from a severe lack of interesting enemies and boss encounters. The boss fights are mediocre to poor. The final fight is epic at times, even if it revolves around a dull story. Thor's sons are kind of fun. The dragon is meh. You hack at his toes and throw balls at him. It's more of a set piece than a boss fight.
And that's okay. I mean, like, Kronos is a set piece boss fight. I actually fight him. I definitely say it was way more interesting than just hacking at this thing's toes and throwing balls at him. Because, I mean, that is all you do.
And it's not like the dragon is an antagonist of the story. It's just a random monster that you gotta fight. Technically impressive, yes, but really nothing of consequence to the story. And this wouldn't have been so bad if there'd been some awesome fights around this. But no, this dragon fight should have felt huge like Kronos or the Colossus. These boss fights suck. It's just a bunch of troll clones and bosses that are overly simple and leave the action for the cutscenes. It's either a guy my size or something so big that it's impractical to actually fight. After 20 hours of this game, you finally have another confrontation with Baldur.
Ooh, this is just awful moment.
And instead of designing a good fight, it's literally just 2 full minutes of mashing R1 and
It's 2 minutes. 2 minutes of this crap.
turning left and right. It's nothing. But at this point, are you surprised? There's no emotional connection to any of these boss fights either. Or any fight in the entire game for that matter. There are no epic, bone-chilling moments like these.
I am not the same man you found that day. The monster you've created has returned.
Oh, what a moment. This is so good. This is my favorite, though. The way he says this.
They will protect Zeus. Zeus must live so that Olympus will prevail.
If all on Olympus will deny me my vengeance, then all on Olympus will die.
I couldn't care less about this mother and son drama that has nothing to do with me.
Yeah, I just
Especially when
never
it's told to me in little tiny
never liked it.
fragments with many hours between them. I'm just killing these enemies because they're in my way. Oh, what?
Yeah, meaning that I don't care about what I'm doing. I don't care about what these gods are talking about, and I don't really care about my own journey because I never knew the wife character. So it's impossible to feel the way he feels. And yeah.
Wait, finally! After traversing this dreary underworld level, do I get to fight that giant death bird? Do I? No. Screw you. Here's another troll.
Yeah, I know they had another boss there planned, but they had to cut it. A lot of people pointed that out to me. But I mean, what we got is what we got. It's a troll, and that sucks.
So, I'm annoyed, I'm bored, and I'm frustrated. And you know what else? You know what makes this so much worse?
Here we go.
This little puñetas right here. He will not shut up. You know what the original God of War series really needed? An 8-year-old boy incessantly screaming, "Father, look out! Behind you! Find a healing stone!" And he never f***ing stops. His voice enters your brain like a parasite, and you start playing sloppier because you're annoyed by him on top of the awful, boring combat.
It was key to get into Atreus at this point. I mean, we're like 35 minutes into the video or something. To lay out everything that has been pissing me off and not even mention Atreus beyond the intro section of the reboot. It was very key to leave him out and then bring him in and be like, and on top of everything else, this thing.
On my first playthrough, I was playing on hard, so I was having to repeat a lot of fights in the early game.
Okay, so people take that as a complaint. I like, that is not a complaint. I like dying multiple times in a fight and having to repeat it. Like that's good. I want to be challenged. But what I'm saying is that that's hard enough to deal with without having a 12-year-old screaming at me the entire time.
And his complaining was so annoying that before every fight, I had to go into the option menu,
I did this.
Turn the dialogue volume all the way down just so I could fight in peace.
Yeah, I did that.
And then, after the fight, go back to the menu, turn it back up so I don't miss the story. Because Kratos and Atreus talk all the f***ing time about dumb shit that I don't care about. I don't like you, kid. Go away. For the love of God, Santa Monica Studio.
Recording this was, oh God, I wanted him to die so much. I lure him out into an area to try to get the dragon to breathe his fire on him. I don't know how many people actually caught what I was doing here. And then I made Kratos dance like Atreus was dead.
Please give us a patch
Here,
with a separate option to mute the boy during combat. It's not like we need to worry about protecting him.
I wonder how many people actually caught what I was doing there.
He's just there for us to spam his arrows. Mindlessly, by the way. The electric arrows turn the game's combat into a complete joke. These
Yep.
things get so out of control that every encounter is just activate electric spell, shoot electric arrows, use runic attacks, and clean up the rest.
That's what it is. You go into these big rooms where you have 100% enemies. You go in, you spam your runic attack, spam the arrows, and 60% of the enemies are already dead. And now go kill everyone. Now go kill the survivors.
Look at this. I'm playing on hard. And all I have to do is spam the electric arrows and mash attacks, and nearly every encounter turns into a broken mess. The only way around this is to play on the expert difficulty, which is a living nightmare for the first few sections. It eventually...
But then you still break the game with the RPG elements, and then you can just keep doing what you're doing on challenge. You still get to the same point on Gimme God of War, where you can just spam your runic attacks, spam the electric arrows, and everything dies. Even the Valkyries.
delivers a few more good fights.
Not the Queen, but a lot of the Valkyries can just be killed this same way.
But then degenerates into the...
See, I mean, look at me just ruining this Valkyrie. But New Game Plus, as I put there, I should have talked about that. I just put it as a note. I really should have talked about it. The New Game Plus Valkyrie fights were just crazy. Way, 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 way better.
Atreus is even worse because he doesn't talk like he belongs in this game. This is supposed to be set in Old Norse mythology, the times of Odin and Thor. But Atreus' English is way too modern.
Take that.
Boy,
Take that? That's what you get? There's no way anyone would say that. There's no way the son of Kratos would speak like that.
Yeah, a boy raised by Kratos would not talk the way that Atreus does. I can't stand the way he talks, like a modern kid. Did they just not know how to write a kid from this age?
This kid even says whatever when he gets pissy.
Whatever. It says, don't wake him. Whatever.
I swear this kid is about to pull out a skateboard and sunglasses.
No one would be saying whatever in this world in this time, whatever it is. No one would say whatever. Like no one. God, I hate Atreus.
He starts mocking the way Kratos talks and basically turns Kratos into a joke himself. Because Kratos is so one note through the entire game that he's like a parody.
Let me guess. You're gonna be smug and say you told me we shouldn't get involved.
Boy, read this.
I said, the only time you care to talk to me is when you need me to translate for you. If Mom was
if
here...
your mother was still alive, we would not be here at all.
In the original, he had a much wider expression of emotion.
Yeah, like Kratos goes through a lot more emotional states especially in the original God of War. And I feel like this portrayal of Kratos is just like, I am Kratos and I am serious, man, for all of this game.
Here he's just monotone and somber from beginning to end. What are you doing, boy?
I remember in Captain Kuwa's reaction video. I love you, Kuwa. No hate. We're good. He really didn't like that I showed this point. He's like, oh, this is misrepresenting the game. It's like showing that the game is glitchy. No. I'm not. I'm just showing a funny moment of Atreus glitching out and being stupid. That's all it is. It's a funny moment.
There comes a moment where the kid almost becomes tolerable. But once he learns that he's part god, oh my god, he becomes insufferable.
Odin's right. We are a threat. Enough about Odin and his whole stupid family. Nobody cared about him anyways. What's the difference?
There are consequences to killing a god!
Do you hear me?
I heard you, and these are not subjects for discussion. Do not push me, boy.
Fine.
Watch your tone, boy.
Whatever.
That's great. Yeah, I just can't stand him. Especially in this part where he gets all full of himself. I guess it's realistic. It's like the troubles of raising a kid in the real world. That's really what I wanted in God of War.
God, I can't express how much I hate this kid. And it boggles my mind that so many publications insist that there's a deep emotional bond between Kratos and Atreus, that this game has a moving emotional story. The original had an emotional story. The PSP game Chains of Olympus had an emotional story. It's emotional when...
I don't remember the story of Chains of Olympus enough to really say if that's true or not. But that is the one that has the part of at the end where you have to push your daughter away, right? Yeah. No, definitely.
Athena dies at your hands. It's emotional when Kratos realizes he's doomed to forever remember his past.
Yes.
It's emotional when you finally beat the living shit out of Zeus for turning his back on you, his son. But this little shit that doesn't even speak like a person from this world, that moans and complains constantly, screams at me all the time while I'm trying to fight, that Kratos just calls boy for 40 hours? Get the fuck out of here. The only moments of real feeling in this game are the moments when Kratos is reflecting on his experiences from the other games.
Which is a great moment when he goes into the tunnel and he sees Athena, and there's this moment of like of who he is, where he came from, the old god of war. That's the best moment in the game. But it's a moment that's based on the past.
I haven't even talked about the story yet because I don't want to. I can barely remember it.
I made sure to put that note there that the mythology stuff is interesting, but what is the central story of Kratos is not interesting. Like I say here, nothing more than find a place to spread the ashes, because that's all Kratos cares about in this story. The drama is based around the other gods, and then Atreus being a dick. But Kratos is just like, I'm just trying to make it up the mountain. And I don't like that. I find it really dull.
There are moments, sure, where you get drawn in. I mean, it's a well-crafted game, so that's gonna happen. The scene where Kratos is finally alone and reflecting silently on his past is truly captivating.
And yes, I know that Kratos is like, he doesn't want his son to grow up to be, what he was. Oh, okay. It's like, yeah, but that's not his mission though. Like what are you doing? Like, where am I going and why am I going there? Is because I'm trying to find a place to bury the ashes. And I find that really dull, no matter what else might be going on in the game.
These moments are few and far between. You spend way more time just running favors for people, which is so Kratos, am I right? Go find something for this guy. Go find something for this other guy.
But I fear for my captain and crew. I believe they are still under the water. Will you find them for me?
The main characters are just as uninteresting as the faceless spirits in the side quests.
I imagine people will very much disagree with that, but I never found the characters in this game interesting.
The main boss fight in the beginning, the one you beat by mashing attack and watching long cutscenes of transitions, is against a god that doesn't feel pain because his mother, the lady in the woods, blessed him with some kind of invulnerability and immunity to pain, and he really wants to feel again. And that's about it, really. Nothing Kratos can do anything about, and the rest of it is just mythology and world building. We don't really get to know the characters in this game well. He tries to kill his mom, Kratos stops him, then you fight him, and these characters barely have any presence in the game at all. They disappear for hours. It's also scattered.
They do not.
Yeah, since it is open world, the pacing is not controlled. So you can go 12 hours without getting any story delivered to you. And that's what I mean by saying it's scattered. They don't really deliver the story in a way to make me even care about what they're talking about. I've already forgotten. I've been gone for 2 days.
Concern us.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a big point. I play that clip a lot. That's why I do not like whatever the story is, because Kratos doesn't care. Kratos does not give a shit about what's going on with these other gods. And so if he doesn't care, then neither do I.
In the game at all. They disappear for hours. It's also scattered.
They do not concern us.
Exactly. Nothing concerns me. I'm as interested in what's going on as Kratos is, which is to say, not at all. Why is Kratos even here? I'm just trying to spread the ashes of my second wife from the highest mountain with my kid. Leave me out of your boring family drama. I'm on my own boring adventure. An adventure through some of the most boring levels ever. While many locations are well structured and intricate and impressive for
That's a beautiful view. I really like that
not
scene.
be immediately impressed by the sights in this game, they quickly lose their charm. Water, rocks, grass, trees, mud, for hours. I'm so tired of walking around and rowing boats. On your first playthrough, if you're exploring all the...
Yeah, it's a boring place to be for a long time.
frequently, you're going to be looking at rocks and water for hours and hours. And once you finally get to Alfheim, it's the same thing. The change of worlds is super refreshing when you finally get there. But this too fades fast as you realize it's just another color of rocks and water and more boring structures from the same camera angle, the same auto-climbing and unsatisfying combat. Levels are filled
Yeah, it doesn't get any better.
sections of walking around, climbing, carrying things, finding pathways. Jump through this water wheel by mashing the interact button.
Oh, yes, this part here. Yeah, you don't have to time it. You can't miss the jump. Just mash X, and then he'll just jump through when he can.
Can't miss time to jump and die. Just mash it until Kratos auto jumps. But yeah, you go 10, 15, 20 minutes without a fight, much less a good one. It's another way the game tricks you into thinking the combat is fun. They knew it was boring and that you'd realize it if there were a lot of fights.
I think that's an important point to make. That the combat was dull, and so they had to space it out with long periods of you exploring and doing other stuff so that the occasional fight would feel exciting. Because if there was a lot of combat, it would get really dull and tedious.
So they put an eternity of walking and rowing boats between them, so you're excited to finally kill something.
And then you fight like 5 guys, and then it's over, and then you're back to exploring for 15 minutes with no combat.
But you quickly become so powerful.
Unless you follow the main campaign. But I mean, half the idea of the game is that you're supposed to be exploring and leveling up, right? And finding, the other trolls to fight, finding power-ups, finding your runic attacks.
That the bland combat areas might as well not even be there.
Yeah, it gets so easy because you're leveling up so much that you could just destroy everything in your path. So why even have the combat there at all when I can just spam all my runic attacks and magic and mash and everything's dead?
You'll find plenty of puzzles, and while a couple of them are good, get ready to do the same puzzle again and again. Nearly every single puzzle in this game is just find the hidden thing and throw your axe at it or shoot it.
Ugh.
Cans to open chests, stones to free the dragon where you run around aimlessly looking for the right rocks to break, which could be anywhere. The game comes to a screeching halt as you wander around looking into the distance trying to find these things. And by the 10th time you've done it, you'll start losing your mind.
Oof, yeah, that experience of stopping to look for the bases. I know it's optional, but you're supposed to, you're trying to engage with what the game is supposed to be, right? And I don't see how anyone was happy with that. I think they toned it down for Ragnarok, didn't they? I don't remember.
Could they not come up with anything better than this? The game itself knows this. Remember in The Last of Us?
Yeah, because you can't jump, right? They can't make any environmental-based puzzles because there's no platforming.
After like the 4th time that you have to find a way to cross the river, Ellie jokes about the repetitiveness of the puzzles. Here, Atreus does the same thing.
Greatest man or tallest tree begins as any more than me. Yeah, it's easy. Stupid riddles.
Being meta and joking about your repetitive puzzle design doesn't make it any better. Just make better puzzles. Hit the cans, shoot the exploding things to free the chests. But that introduces another problem I have. So many chests and items
so
that
many.
it's very common for this to happen.
Yeah.
You find yourself in an area with some kind of puzzle. Here, you have to move this glowing torch to different spots in less than 10 seconds each move. You have to explore this entire area looking for these transfer points, and then babysit this thing to each one. It's easy to get disoriented because, well, there's no camera direction. You're spinning the camera all over the place.
Yeah, you can't judge where you've already been based on how the camera frames it. That would be a really good way to like figure out what your navigation is. As soon as you step into an area and the camera's a certain way, you're like, oh yeah, I've been here. No, but instead you're memorizing a whole area of just random pathways, and everything is gray rock. It's just I hated figuring out where to go in this part.
After seriously 5 minutes of running around these rocks and moving the torch, you finally get it to this door. Another chest. Okay, give me something good. Oh, another grip for my blades. It's a good one, but I like the one I'm using. So I've just wasted my f***ing time.
Yep. You spent all this time on a puzzle to get something that you don't want. I think that is a huge problem in this game's design.
Thanks, game. Here's what they could have done. Enter an area and see that the goal of this puzzle is whatever thing. Axe pummel of blah blah.
I stand by this. I still think this is a good idea.
And then you could say, oh, hey, that sounds pretty good. I feel that it's worth the next 10 minutes of my time screwing around with this puzzle.
Here we go.
You know what game did this perfectly?
Yes. I was bringing up Doom a year before Eternal. Every Doom fan has to
Doom
show that
2016.
when they mention Doom.
Rune challenges, it immediately tells you what you'll win if you complete it. Because it could take you a while to get through it, and they don't want to interrupt the flow of the game. Right from the beginning, you can say, move faster for a short time after performing a glory kill. Nah, I think I'll pass. And then move on with the f***ing game. That's how you do it. So you don't spend an eternity completing a puzzle or challenge just to get something you don't want. In God of War, you have to do all these puzzles if you want to find the stuff you want, and suffer through plenty of stuff that you don't. I swear, look at all these axe pummels I've found. And I've found all these light runic attacks. I can only use one.
Oh, God, I hate that. Like, I would love to be experimenting with some of these other attacks, but I mean, come on. Gotta go in the menu and equip it every single time. Oh, I hate this design.
Look at all these enchantments. Jesus Christ. I can only have like 3 or 4 of these equipped.
Yeah, the enchantments were out of control. There were so many, and you know what? They took them out entirely from Ragnarok, and then like much later, you get that thing that you can slot in new enchantments, and it's much more toned down and streamlined and much less overwhelming. But here, I mean, you pick up so many of these little enchantments that you can't use, and most of them are like worthless bonuses.
Any one time, I haven't used even 90% of these things. They're all so shitty or so specific as to make them virtually useless. Reduce poison damage? You almost never get poisoned in this game. Reduce burn damage? You almost never get burned in this game. And by the time you get them, you're already so powerful that they're obsolete. Am I expected to go into my inventory and change my enchantments and my rune attacks for every fight? Just make Kratos take less fire and poison damage as a way to level up. Don't make me equip all this stuff.
Look at all these.
You are driving me insane.
Oh my God. Ah, the music swells.
Right?
The music swells perfectly right here into this big drama. Love it.
This stuff. You are driving me insane. But hey, it looks nice, right? Man, this game is a technical marvel. It's gorgeous and feels alive. I've never seen animations so lifelike. It's too bad the gameplay and the story don't live up to the same standard. It's beautiful. And the game insists that you acknowledge that fact. It doesn't want you to not see how good it looks, leading to moments where the game forces you to walk. Let's carry a tree. Let's carry a pig. Look at this turtle. We spent so long making this turtle. Look at it. Hey, I'm Kratos. You don't tell me what to look at. You don't tell me that I can't run in this part. The old games made me feel like I was Kratos. This one just makes me feel like I'm controlling him.
Yeah, I wonder how many other people felt like that. Now, I never felt like I was Kratos in this game, but I always felt like I was him in the originals. They brought me along and they made me connect to him. But if you start a game with him here, and you start by taking the ashes of his second dead wife up a mountain, and you don't even see her face, and you never see any history between them, like, you know, I don't feel like I'm on the same adventure as this guy.
And controlling him slowly. Slowly climbing up walls when we used to fly up them.
Yeah, you used to be able to just jump up or slide down. It's great. Now you just just hold the stick and crawl along the set path. You see that? You're not even crawling across the rocks and like just areas you can climb on. It's just like a line that you follow.
You could double jump and
Ridiculous.
catch the wall, leap up to the ledge and slide down and be done with it. Here, you just have to press the interact button to latch on and hold up and wait. Which, believe me, gets old after you've climbed about 3 times. You may think I'm nitpicking, but I'm not. This game is filled with an infuriating amount of brain-dead climbing. Just hold up and wait. Can't jump up or slide down. Just another instance of player agency being stripped away from us in favor of this cinematic crap. And this seemingly minor change led to the single most frustrating time I had in the entire game my first playthrough. Enter this part of Midgard by the Hellwalker quest.
I don't remember this. Oh, is this the wolf part? I think it is.
And go into the cave. Hold up slowly to climb the walls, climb down the chain, and 2 powerful wolvers appear. You'll probably lose due to not being highly upgraded and not understanding how to fight them.
Yeah, I fought them early. I didn't know what I was doing, so I got my ass kicked. I mean, I'm sure that happened to plenty of people.
The fight is in a very constricted area, and if you die, you go back to the bottom of the wall.
Oh, God.
You go back to the bottom of the wall, and even though I like to stick out a tough fight for as long as it takes, I was losing my mind repeatedly climbing up.
It's so bad. Why did they not spawn you near them? God, you have to climb the wall every time you want to try the fight again.
It's what I feared the most about dying, climbing again. There came a point where I just said, no, I am not climbing that f***ing wall again.
Yeah, I eventually stopped trying to kill them. I mean, I killed them on other playthroughs because I'm recreating what my experience was the first time I played, which was, a year before this video came out. I eventually went on to play through everything, do all the quests, kill everything. I played on challenge. I played on normal. I played on Give Me God of War, and I played New Game Plus Give Me God of War. So I got the full experience.
Which brings me, finally, to the challenge realms, which are awful. Niflheim must be the worst idea in the game. Hours of tedious, boring resource grinding, where you repeatedly open chests, hundreds of them, to unlock armor that you don't even need anymore. And then there's the Muspelheim battle trials, which are either frustrating and boring, or comically easy and boring.
Frustrating and boring, or comically easy and boring, because it's always boring.
Depending on how bad you've broken the game through the terrible RPG-style leveling
Right,
system.
because you're just so powerful.
Also a perfect example of how this game values immersion over gameplay. The original series also had these challenges, remember? And not only were they more fun and interesting, but you could easily access them from the menu. Want to play a specific trial? Just click it and it starts.
Isn't that nice?
How convenient. In this game, every trial is separated by 3 minutes of slow, pointless mountain climbing. Why? More climbing? Maybe this is the final trial. The trial of infinite patience. Though, I guess that's a good way to describe this entire game.
That's a great transition right there. It feels wow. And I made that little graphic right there. That was fun to make. I don't remember how I did that. Yeah, trial 4, infinite patience. Climb rocks for the rest of your life.
Though, I guess that's a good way to describe this entire game. So, we've looked at all my complaints. Do you feel the same way? Probably not. Everyone loved this game, while I was left dumbfounded. Why did this game get so much praise? That's the question, right? Well, I think it's a few factors. 1. People and critics already decided that they were going to love this game before it came out. There was so much hype around this huge return of Kratos, as there should have been. He's a special cultural icon, unique in gaming. His games are great, and Cory Barlog, director of God of War 2, the best in the series, was back in the director's chair. It looked gorgeous, and while I was worried about the amounts of walking and talking and babysitting, I was still excited and ready to love it too.
I was super happy this game was coming out. I was so excited. I took some extra work so that I could get the money to get it on day one. I got the physical copy and I went home and put it on. And I was so excited because you should have seen. I literally had my head in my hands. I really did. Once I got to the Draugr fight, that first Draugr fight, and I just hated it so much.
The day it came out, anxiously. And 3 hours in, I had my head in my hands in disbelief and disappointment.
Yeah.
It's similar to the way I felt at the end of the new Predator film, sitting in the theater opening night. 2. People are blinded by the technical achievements. It's so beautiful and well crafted, and all the animations feel lifelike and smooth and intricate.
There's that quote here: gamers and critics are desperate for video games to be considered art, so they'll happily sacrifice gameplay in exchange for seriousness. I think that is a factor. I think that is definitely a factor, and why this game was so loved. It's like, oh, it's such a work of art.
And intricate. The controls are tight. There's a real weight behind every attack as old Kratos.
It feels good. It feels good. Like the controls are very well done. The impact of hits feels good. Like that's high praise to that.
It has exciting moments, and it impresses with its enormousness in moments like the talking snake and staring down from the snowy mountain. 3. Or they just like it. They had fun with it, and you had fun with it too. Cool. It's not a terrible game. There are some really enjoyable sections, and it's impressive. A friend of mine told me that if it weren't called God of War, I wouldn't hate it. Look, I don't hate it. It's not terrible in every way like Silent Hill Downpour or some broken indie Steam.
Which is, which people are now saying is great. Nope, will not accept it. Sorry.
Trash game. I'm not putting this and Fallout 76 in the same category.
I'm sure people will also come in and say Fallout 76 is actually the greatest game ever. Okay, fine.
But this could have been so much better. If it weren't called God of War, I would say that it's an incredibly impressive, mediocre game with repetitive combat, restrictive character movement, and a forgettable story. I'd say that it's decent and worth checking out because it's solidly made. It's a very complete package, obviously made with love and care, and there's not a trace of predatory microtransactions. It's a large and realized single-player experience, and that should be encouraged in this day and age. But nothing more than that. If it were its own original game with an original title, I'd say it's just all right. But as an installment in the God of War series, it goes in all the wrong directions. This game is a weird case for me because I hate so many decisions that they made, but the game is still put together really well. It's the only game that I don't actually like, but I've played like 100 or more hours of.
Yeah, probably 200 to 300 hours. Yeah, because I explored everything. I tried to do everything on, and I had multiple playthroughs. I said at least four. I may have had five. I don't remember. Because there's something about it. This is a really sincere moment for me here at the end, where I'm like, look, I've said all this stuff that really pisses me off that I think is really bad, but like in my multiple playthroughs of it, there's something that kept me going.
The game kind of hypnotizes you into playing it more and more. Even if you never feel a sense of excitement, you still feel like you have to push on. Even if you know that you're not going to find a good fight or interesting item, you feel like you have to go check out that little area on the beach.
Yep,
Even if
yep.
the story of this game is boring, my attachment to Kratos keeps me moving. I don't know, like I said, it's a weird case. Before you accuse me of just not wanting things to change, I'm a fan of the original Resident Evils, and I really like the Resident Evil 2 remake for the most part. I'm an old school Doom 1993 fan, and Doom 2016 is one of my favorite games of all time.
And it's very different than the original Dooms. Like, new stuff is good.
I'm not against games coming back and being reimagined. However, I do have a problem with stripping out what made the originals so good in the first place if you're not going to replace it with something equally good. If you were to ask me if I would recommend this game, I would say, sure. Everyone should check it out because its positives are really strong. But don't expect to be excited by the gameplay, and get ready to be really bored sometimes. Look, I know that if they had just made this game exactly like the originals, it would have felt stale.
Okay, so this is an important thing to have here at the end, because I get a lot of comments of, you don't even acknowledge that Ascension, it was the end of the series and everyone was sick of it and that game didn't do well and they had to change. Like, yeah, I get it. Like, you couldn't just make another game that played just like old God of War. A reimagining is something I'm open to. I was excited for this game, even though like it looked really different. But I think what they did was very misguided in their combat decisions, the XP decisions, especially the health and magic management. I think you could have kept the intelligent things about the originals while still changing the world and with a weapon and the magic and the enemies and the art style. I think you could have done all that stuff. But it feels like they just really abandoned the smart aspects of the original and didn't replace them with anything else that was smart.
I get that. I like that they attempted a new direction, but there are so many areas in which they failed. God of War 2018 removed virtually everything great about the originals and replaced it with mediocrity, pretty graphics, and self-importance. Thanks for watching my video. Whether you love this game or not, thanks for watching. This is my first video like this. Maybe I'll do another, I don't know.
Wow, I mean, listen to that. I had no idea what was coming. No idea. I did not work doing videos for YouTube. This is 4 years before I got my my jobs working for games and doing QA and combat design and consultation, stuff like that. I had no idea what was on the way. This was a year before the world shut down in 2020, so I was still back in the old world when I made this video. Yeah, wow. Putting this together, it was such a different time. Okay. Yeah.
This is a lot of work. I apologize for the video and the audio not being of great quality. I have a cheap video capture card and I had to borrow a microphone, as I never expected to do something like this. Like and subscribe, share with a friend if you like it. I'll probably play a lot of Doom Eternal and Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah, I probably will play a lot of Doom Eternal when it comes out, huh? Look at me. I was just a guy. Like, I know I'm a YouTuber now and people come to me for stuff and I do strategy guys and all that kind of stuff. But I was just a guy like everybody else. I just liked the games and I was like, all right, can't wait to play the new Doom. It's going to be so fun. and not thinking about anything else other than that. Not thinking about how I'm going to review it, how I'm going to analyze it, how I'm going to break down its systems, stuff that I do for that and for other games. I didn't think about games like that back then. I just enjoyed them. But I knew why I enjoyed them. I could talk to you about this. Like here, I'm talking about it here. I already knew how to talk about what I liked about God of War in depth, but I didn't like play games and really and like try to analyze what exactly I do like about it for a review purpose. Yeah. Sometimes I miss that guy.
Twitch.tv/underthemayo. I never stream, but I might. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, right. And the old graphic.
Whatever.
Ah, and one more whatever at the end. That's great. Okay. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in for this. Thank you to everybody who has been here since the Doom Eternal days. And those of you that saw this video in the year before, whoever saw this video in 2019, that first 1,000 people, I wonder if there's anybody from that time tuning into this. And to those of you from the before times too, from Mortal Kombat days, I know a few of you are still here. I love you guys. Thanks for watching this. I'm going to do some more God of War stuff. I mean, we've got the remakes coming, so I'll be here for you the whole time. All right. This was fun to do. Happy 1 million views, how God of War was ruined. That's amazing. Had no idea that would ever happen. Yeah, let that be a lesson. If you want to make YouTube videos and you're not getting the views, who knows, man? Something you put out a couple years ago could suddenly become popular. You could make something now that gets popular, and then someone goes back to the old videos and suddenly that's popular. You never know. So if you like making videos, just keep doing it as long as it's not messing with your life too much. All right. Bye-bye.